Yeah, man. Greetings. It's Abba Ayalew Amlak. Heruseke mankamun. Silo samanzi. Uzinyo lengwenya. Uboya bengwe. Uchaye ngumbono ukuthi umandla nodlumvu ukukhipha ukyete. Indlalo yamabhelele nolanga lokulunga okhubo nomafungwe yodlambulo nombikazi ondaba ezitha. Namhlanje bakwethu, I'm here to talk about uMuntu. What it is to be uMuntu. What is uMuntu? We'll call today's lecture, what is uMuntu? What are we? What is it to be human? And I'll start by saying, I will not pretend to be the sole authority. I will not pretend to be the know-it-all. I will not pretend to be the one person who's got all the answers in the world. Everything I'm going to talk about, and everything I have spoken about, and everything I will be speaking about, is primarily based, first of all, on experience, secondly, on research, thirdly, on study and interaction. So I urge anybody who is listening, do your own research. Don't believe everything I say. I'm not here selling a product. I'm just here sharing my views and my perspective on life. And everyone has a right to their opinion, you know. No one's forced to listen to my opinion. No one's forced to take my opinion. But as much as I can learn from you, maybe there's something you can learn from me as well. So let's take this as a learning experience. Sizofundisana. I'd like you to comment, to state your views, to state your opinions on the comment sections. And then we're going to get back to you. We're going to get into the discussions, get into the debates if we have to. But bakwethu ngiyanicela, ama ad hominem syndrome, ama ad hominem complex awame kancane man. Yes, ngiyayibhema insango bakwethu, but I don't do it in your face, you know. So if there is something you disagree with, don't make my smoking ganja the issue. The issue here is you listened to me, and I appreciate that. And if you disagree, state your opinion, state why you disagree. Asingathukanini bakwethu ngoba ayisaphumi kahle manje, ayisasoundi kahle. But that being said, namhlanje ngizokhuluma ngomuntu. What is uMuntu? I'm going to start by saying uMuntu is not necessarily a person. uMuntu is not necessarily a person. And I'm going to say why now. And I understand for someone else uzoti no, amanzi is not water. I understand omunye uzoti no. I'm just playing around with the words, two different languages meaning the same thing. I want to break down what uMuntu means. And you can substantiate with your own research, elucidate with your own research, you know. But umu, the word, the prefix umu. Now, before you get to mu, you have the u. U, you're speaking about a living being, a human being. You cannot say unkomo. You can only say inkomo. You can't say utafula or ustulo, which is aksina Isintu leso, but for the example, you can't say unja, inja, unless you give it a personalized name, a personified name. Inja sibiza ke sithi ke nangu Hulk. Because now the dog has a name, sithi Hulk. Ubani Hulk? Inja. Alright. Now, Usipho, you cannot say he's a table or a chair or a spoon. You are talking about a living entity, a human entity. So, U points to the humanness of what we are talking about. Mu. Mu means the essence of, or the soul of. Xhosa, Mosotho, Mopedi, Zulu. We are talking about the essence of something here. That which you are. You are the soul of. You are the essence of. Of what? Of Ntu. Now Ntu is a universal spirit. It's the universal cosmic spirit. It's the heavens, if you would. So, uMuntu would mean the essence of the universal spirit. Or you could say it's the soul of heaven, or the soul of everything heavenly. That's not a person. A person is an evolutionary stage called Homo sapiens sapien, which evolved from your Australopithecus, from your Homo habilis, from all of those stages of evolution up until Homo sapien, and then later Homo sapiens sapien, which now we have what we call the person, the Homo sapien. uMuntu does not speak of evolution in those terms of evolving from one creature to another creature and another creature to another creature. uMuntu, our stories of origin, teach us that we came to this earth realm, we came to this world whole, complete, with wives, with children, with domesticated animals. This is why cows are so important to us, but we'll get to that another day. uMuntu is the essence of something that is out of this worldly, something that is spiritual, something that is universal, something that is cosmic. It is the soul of heaven. If you read, if you're interested in the Egyptian, the Kemetic knowledge, you'll find that there is a saying that was spoken by, I'll just remember who said it, uPtahotep in his book. Uti ba arpet kat arta ka arnetcher. That means my soul is of heaven, my essence, my beingness is of heaven. Ba arpet, soul is of heaven. Kat arta, my body is of the earth. Ka arnecher, and my spirit is of the gods. Now, this is how he's describing himself as uMuntu. Uguti, yes, I've got a physical body that is of this earth, but my soul is of heaven. Muntu. My soul is of heaven. Ba arta, or ba arnut, ba nut, if you want to be specific, or if you want to personify the pet. The pet is the canopy above the earth, which is called nut, or ntu, or tu. What we see at night with the stars, that is nut. That is the pet. that is the canopy above the ta, above the earth. And we say we are of that canopy. We are Banut, Ba Arnut, Ba Ntu. Our body, the physical body, is of the earth because it is physical and the earth is physical. And that which enlivens both our soul and body, the ka, is of the gods. Which brings me to the next part of what I want to talk about. uMuntu is made up of three bodies that we have just described. The ka, spirit, the ba, the soul, and the kat, the body. Now, these three things work together in harmony in order to have a living being. The spirit does not belong to us. Metaphorically or symbologically, it is depicted as two hands raised above, like this. Now, this sign is a sign that you are receiving something that which is greater than you, that which is above you, that is out of your control. So it's a sign of reception from something that is greater. That is the ka. The ka comes from the gods. Our essential being is God. We've heard in even in the biblical traditions, ukuthi the body is the temple of the Spirit of God. His Majesty Haile Selassie says this as well, ukuthi our bodies are the temple of the Most High because they house our essence. They house our spirit, the essence of our being. Now that's the kat. The soul now, the ba, is an aspect of you that is born with you the moment you are born. Now, at the moment of conception, you start to grow in your mother's womb. You start to grow in your mother's womb. At that point, you are flesh in development, kat, and spirit. These two things. Because your mother gives you the physical matter of who you are. Your father gives you the areolis, the spermatozoa, the light, the spirit that enlivens this dark matter. When these two come together, you are at that point not yourself. You are mass at the speed of light, or a mass developing at the speed of light. So when the egg and the sperm come together, it's matter and spirit. It's ka, it's kat, the body kat, and the ka that come together. And after all this process of developing, what happens is, at the moment of birth, you take your first breath, the ang, you start to become a living soul. That moment, the ba is born. Now you have taken that physical matter, which is enlivened by spirit, light, and now you give it experience. So, the moment of birth, you take your first breath, your soul starts to live. Your soul starts to become alive. You become a living soul. Now, the kat, the body, the physical mass that was at first dark matter in your mother's ovum, in your mother's womb, that was enlightened by the areolis, the light that came from your father. They got together now and gave birth to an external experience that is you, the ba. Now, the ba in Egyptian symbolism, okay, the kat is symbolized as a fish. a fish out of water. So it's a fish jumping out of water. Now we all know what happens to a fish out of the water, right? It suffocates. As much as when we go into the water, we suffocate. So a fish, when it's out of the water, it suffocates, it reaches mortality, it dies. So it's a teaching about it's an allegorical teaching about the physical body, that the physical body is in the process of death anyway. It is dead. Without the car, the spirit, the physical body is not alive. If the fish is out of the water, it's not alive. If man is without spirit, he's not alive. You understand? Now the ba comes in as the experience of the man, as the experience of the spirit. Because you must remember, we are spirits having a physical experience on this world. So essentially we are ka, trapped in a cut in a body to gain experience through the ba. Now the ba is symbolized as a human-headed bird. Symbolized like that to mean that, yes, it is a human experience, but it's more mental than physical. And the body is a bird, meaning we are not attached to this physical realm. We can move. So the soul has elasticity, the soul has freedom, the soul can move, the soul can dream. This is why I say we are pupa. You fly. It's your soul having that experience. Now, the ka ba chart is the triangle that we call man. And this triangle that we call man is further divided into triplicities or trinities, if you may. So the ka has three aspects to it. The ba has three aspects to it, and the kat has three aspects to it. They are as follows. In the spirit, you have one, essentially the spirit, moya, what makes us active, that energy, that vital energy that keeps us alive, the God in man. Moya. Moya works with ingqondo, the mind. It speaks in the mind. This is the voice that speaks in your head. The other person, the one who advises, the one who gives you knowledge, the inspirer. And then umoya futhi uhambelana nesithunzi sakho, your shadow. Now I'm not talking about your shadow on the ground. I'm talking about your shadow body. The body that affects other bodies when you come into contact with them. Your aura, in other words. All of this is happening in the spirit. So as it comes down from the highest point, from moya, it goes through the mind and then it activates the aura around you. The second part of man is the ba, which is the soul, umphefumulo, the soul. That which experiences and records the experience. How does it record these experiences? Through the astral body. Itongo, idlozi, that energy body that we all possess. That body is that body we go into when we are sleeping and we travel around with. That body is the body that we astral project into and we travel around and experience. That is part of the soul. And the last part of the soul is amandla, power. And not power to lift up heavy objects. No, I'm talking about, hey, when that person speaks to you, you can actually hear what they say. When that person does something, it actually moves people. Amandla, that power, charisma, if you may. That has to do with your soul. The last part of the body, of the human being, is the body, the cut. the physical body, umzimba, that which we see, that which we feel, touch, taste, and hear through. Umzimba has a name because it is not the soul, it is not the spirit. It is on its own. It has a name, igama, ibizo, libizo. And all of that works with ingqondo, the brain, the physical brain, which is not like the mind. We could say the IQ, the EQ, the AQ. So this is the intelligence of man. How man understands his physical world. So these 9 aspects make up what we call uMuntu in their triplicities. uMuntu is not a complicated, is a complex being. Because now you need to be able to harmonize all these 9 realities or all these 9 parts of who you are in order to be a whole person. But we have a system by which we apply in order for us to reach that Ubuntu-ness. We call it uBuntu. We all know this. uMuntu ngabantu, uMuntu, kimuntu kabatu, munu bebele munu mungwe. We can say it in many different languages. Essentially, it means the same thing. uMuntu ngabantu. That speaks about family, that speaks about community, that speaks about nations, that speaks about clans, that speaks about the non-existence of individuality. Because in essence, if we remove the cut part of who we are and we leave the bar and the car, we are all spirits. And there is no way to identify who is who in the spirit except through experience. This is why we gain experiences. And our experiences determine the levels of maturity in spiritual terms. So, let's look at the Pythagorean triangle to try and explain uBuntu. What is uBuntu? What is uMuntu? uMuntu ngabantu. If we are asked, what is uMuntu? We would say uMuntu ngabantu. Alright. Obani nabantu. Who are these people that make uMuntu? uMuntu, first of all, is born in a family. A family is father and mother. But father and mother as father and mother. And mother as father and mother. And father's father and mother, they also have father and mother. So if you count this to 12 generations, you get to 144,000 people on one side of your family, 144 people on the other side of your family, and that makes you the one that joins these 2 bloodlines. Umukwena. You are Mukwena because someone before you was Mukwena, and before him Neli Mukwena, and before him Neli Mukwena, up until Kwena. So all of you are Kwena. You are an extension of this one person. So I am because of all the people who were before me. uMuntu ngabantu. That's family. Let's look at it. Pythagoras, the theorem of Pythagoras, we all know it, right? The right angle triangle. A squared plus B squared is equal to C squared. In a right angled triangle, the sum of the hypotenuse is equal to the sum of the square of the 2 sides. Nishilo, but mathematicians nyaz. A squared plus B squared equals to C squared. Now A is this line. B is this line. If you square this line and you square this line and add them together, you get the hypotenuse, this line. Let's look at it in humanistic terms. Here is your father, the upright, the spark of light that descended from above to the earth. Here is your mother, the line that is on the ground that gives you a physical body that grounds you. And it is your mother that is going to give birth to you so that you can raise back up to the light from which you came. See, we have an internal joke like Abakhaliphi. We like to say, when people ask, what is love? We say love is the vertical line over the horizontal line that gives birth to the perpendicular one, that vibrates perpendicularly. It's an old joke we used to babies now, but what we are essentially saying is the theorem of Pythagoras. Uguti, this right angle triangle is essentially the core of what uMuntu is. This is how the pyramids were built. This is how houses are built. This is how ibaya are built. And uMuntu is built on a right angle triangle concept. But it is also the uprightness of uMuntu, the Kabachat, the nine-leveled or the nine aspect being, uMuntu, the essence of heaven, the soul of the universal spirit. Now, we can look at it, flip it, and go to Einstein. E is equal to mc squared. Energy is equal to mass at the speed of light. I did say before, the womb, the ova, the ovaries of the mother, the egg, is dark matter, is mass. The spermatozoa, the areolis, is light. Moving at the speed of light, they come together, mass at the speed of light, create energy, which is what we are, a bundle of energy. This is why we call our children bundles of joy. But it's energetic. Everything is trying to describe what uMuntu is. I believe all studies in this world are trying to study man. But that's a subject for another day. So, Pythagoras spoke about this. Einstein spoke about this. Tina, we say uMuntu ngabantu. So, one person is equal to two people or more. uMuntu ngabantu. A is equal to A, C squared is equal to A plus B. E is equal to MC squared. We are all saying the same thing. Essentially, it says to me something that uBuntu is a universal concept that everyone, everywhere knows about. They just maybe articulate it differently. Because essentially uBuntu is simple. It's what people do, right? Intwenziwa abantu, uBuntu. And everywhere in the world, I believe kunabantu. And whatever they are doing, uBuntu. Isintu sabo nabo. But yeah, that's a topic for another day, Nale. Uguti, who is actually abantu and who is not uMuntu. But we are not here for that today. I'm going to talk about the triangle of beings now. The consciousness, the conscious awareness of what it is to be uMuntu. Again, to prove the universality of the concept of uBuntu, or to prove the universality of the understanding of uBuntu. Picture a triangle. Doesn't have to be right angled anymore now, just an equilateral triangle. At the very top of this triangle, put God, Mudim, Kamata. whatever concept you have of God. On the other point, put gods, or you can say ancestors, Badimu, depends on you. On the other corner, put man. Man, uMuntu, uMuntu. Now you have a triangle. God, gods, and man. Mudimu, badimu, uMuntu. Kamata, iznya, izhlwele, nomuntu. Now, in the middle of this triangle, there is a force, an energy that exists there. We can call it magic, since we are a school of magic. We call it magic. And magic, I'm not talking about rabbits appearing under my armpits or cars disappearing in walls, or people for that matter disappearing through walls. I'm talking about knowledge, magic, magi, wise, wisdom, knowledge. That system of knowledge connects God, gods, and men. How? And men back to God. His Majesty Haile Selassie said, we should never confuse religion and spirituality. Religion is a set of rules made by man in order to uplift the spirit of man. But due to human weakness, to man's weakness, religion has become tricky and a tool for power struggling and. Whereas spirituality is a system of living pure and original as was given by the Most High of creation. Spirituality is a network that links us to each other, to the Most High, and to the environment. That's the magic I'm talking about, spirituality. Because now, in this triangle, we need to understand that none of these points of the triangle are separated. They all exist in one. God in man, man in his gods, and gods in God. God with different aspects is gods. The gods in human form is us. Us in divine form is God. So this triangle is one thing. And there is a trick to this. God is the supreme ideal, the highest ideas we have of ourselves. Now, if you have criminal ideals for yourself, then your God is a criminal, is criminal. And your thoughts will be criminal, your inspirations will be criminal, your ideas will be criminal, your dreams will be criminal. If your highest vibration is, you choose your own highest vibration, but wait. God is your highest ideals. The gods, or the ancestors, Badimu, are the creative ideas that work towards that ideal. Hope I make sense. The creative ideas that work towards realizing the ideal. Those are what gods are. Those are what ancestors, Badimu, are. And man is the concrete manifestation of the ideal. Right? So you have the highest ideal, God. You have the ideas that make that ideal possible into concrete manifestation, which is man. And magic, or spirituality, or knowledge, is the system of living that we call uBuntu. How do we put these 3 points together in harmony within man, within self? How do these 3 points help us to realize the God in us? And that's the essence of this science called uBuntu. That which is done by humans, so everything that is done by humans is an attempt to understand self, is an attempt to return to primeval divinity, our original state of being. We are gods, but we die like men. What is a human being? Sikhulumile uMuntu, that uMuntu is not a person. But I want to link now the word human being to uMuntu. Hu, if you look it up in the dictionary or any explanation, they will say is a vibratory quality of color, as in the different hues of light, or the different shades, the different qualities of light. It is the property of light by which the color of an object is classified. Listen, it is the property of light by which the color of an object is classified. It refers to the origin of the colors that we see, the dominant color family. So, hue refers to a dominant color family, but it's not one color. I know a lot of people would like to say it was black, but it's not one color. You must remember, black is a mixture of all the colors in the spectrum, and white is the absence of all the colors in the spectrum. And between white and black, which is essentially the same thing, white and black are the same color. One is the presence and one is the absence. But between these two extremes, there is a whole spectrum of color, which is called the hue. Right? Now, what is a human being? A man is a conscious being who exists on 5 levels. Remember, hue is a vibratory quality. It has to do with vibration. It has to do with quality. It has to do with frequency. Right? Man is a being who exists on 5 levels of vibration, of frequency. One is a mineral vibration. Mineral vibration with the rocks, with the minerals on the earth. What makes us physical? Pigmentation is a mineral. Melanin is a mineral. Calcium is a mineral. Magnesium is a mineral. There's many minerals. That's the mineral level. Now, at the mineral level, we have no consciousness. We just are. Like protein, if you put protein there, it's a mineral. Magnesium there, it's a mineral. It affects nobody. It's just sitting there. It only works if it's put into something or mixed with something. That's what I'm trying to get to. On its own, it's holy. It's affected by nothing and it affects nothing. That's the mineral stage. We all have it. Melanin, as I said, is a mineral. And to be obsessed with melanin is being obsessed with the mineral level of vibration. The first frequency, the lowest frequency. But that's a story for another day. The second level is the vegetal level of consciousness. The vegetal level of consciousness now is that aspect of us that feeds. Like the vegetation around. Trees eat from the minerals. We eat from the minerals. Photosynthesis is a process that food eats, that plants eat food. Digestion is the process by which we absorb food. It's the vegetal state of what is it to be human. It is also a low level of consciousness, because now abantu abacabanga ngesisu man, you're always concerned about food, you know. But the third level is the animal level of consciousness. Now the animal level of consciousness is when now we start to move, we start to be animated. Animal, animated, we start to move. Like uMuntu is paralyzed from the neck down, is in a vegetal state. They are alive though, they eat, they breathe, they are alive, but they are called vegetable. They are vegetable. After the vegetable state, we get to the state of comatose, where you are just there. You are not a vegetable, you are not alive, you are not interacting, but you are not dead because you are still on the mineral level of consciousness. That's why they keep you alive by feeding you minerals, and it. The drips, manfaka dripu, benzan. They're giving you minerals to keep you alive. That's the mineral stage. Now, paralysis, vegetal state. Now you start to be animated, you start to move around. It's the animal state. But the animal state has emotions, has feelings, has lust, has passions, has all of these things. That's why I was about to, but I'm when you treat yourself like an animal. Because now you are showing animalistic behaviors. And we all have that level of consciousness. The next level of consciousness, the fourth one, is the human level of consciousness, where now we start to use intelligence. To know right, wrong, good, evil. We start to separate now. We start to make choices now. Not like animals driven by passions and driven by instinct. Now we start to think about what we do. Now we start to intelligently consider what we do and the decisions and the choices we make. But that's not the highest level. Above that is the fifth one now, the divine, the godly level. Because now you've reached another level of existence where you vibrate higher than the human. You vibrate at a point where you can receive messages from the gods and see visions and. So now these 5 vibratory qualities or levels of consciousness are what a human being is. A human being is a being that expresses vibrational frequencies according to the level of consciousness the individual is tapped into or trapped in. I'm going to say it again. A human being is a being that expresses a vibrational frequency according to the level of consciousness that the individual is tapped into or trapped in. Now, you can be trapped in the mineral. You can be trapped in the vegetal. You can be trapped in the animal. Like I said, in the mineral, you are in a coma. You are trapped. In the vegetal, you are trapped. You are paralysis. In the animal, you are trapped because you are driven by your passions and your instincts and all of that. You can tap into the human and tap into the one above, the divine. Now, that is what a human being is. A human being is the result of the vibrational frequency that they tapped into or are trapped in. Basically, what human being means is a vibrational quality. That's all it means. You are a being that vibrates at a level of consciousness determined by which level you exist on. Therefore, hue refers to the different expressions of color or consciousness possible to man. So you've got a whole spectrum to tap into as a being. The hue of that being expresses that quality, that ability to tap into more than one level of consciousness. uBuntu now is the interconnectedness of these energies vibrating at or tending to vibrate at a similar frequency. uMuntu, ngabantu. uMuntu is the interconnectedness of these energies vibrating at or tending to vibrate at similar frequencies. uMuntu, ngabantu. It's where you get the birds of a feather flock together saying, whatever quality you vibrate in, if you are on a mineral, actively on a mineral vibration, yeah, we have those around us. Junkies, drug addicts, people are dependent on alcohol, drugs, anything that is mineral. We have such people. They are active, they are animated, they are human, but they are trapped in the mineral level of consciousness. They will flock with people like them. You have people who are trapped in the vegetal state. I mean, yonke bona, they don't mind sitting around and watching the sun go up and down. Bahleli bablomile size siyasho nasekhasi ngelanguage mos. Sithi ublomile uyiblom. You are a flower, ublomile. Meaning you just shrouded up and so hleli manje lapha. And then those people exist with people like them. And then they're animated people. Hey, mina ngisilwane nginjaka sathane mina. Hey, you identify as an animal. You are going to identify and live with people who identify as animals. So birds of a feather flock together. This is why I say uBuntu is the energies, interconnectedness, vibrating at or tending to vibrate at similar frequencies. The vibrational quality determines one's chosen community. You choose the people you spend your time with, your community with, because of your vibrational quality. Makubuzwana nabathakathi, you can't come and tell me that wena uthakathi. Uzwana kanjani nabo labantu? You understand? We tend to bond with those of like minds, vibrational frequency. And we say we vibe with them. Siyazwana, meaning we feel each other. Angit? Siya vibe, it's a vibe. It's a vibe. We have the same frequency. When they speak, I understand. When I speak, they understand. Iyahlangana lento. It's dangerous, but beautiful at the same time. Because now, it means no man is an island. But in your continent, in Pilelani, Nenzani, what are you doing? Are you developing yourselves? Are you regressing? Are you... What is actually happening here? Now, uBuntu can only exist within the context of others. Thus, the universality of consciousness. uBuntu can only exist within the context of others. Awukwazi ukuba umuntu uhleli wedwa phansi kombhede. Ubani ozokubiza umuntu? Awukwazi ukuthi when uyi-soccer player and you've never got into a groundini wadlala namanye ama-soccer player. Uyi-soccer player ezazi yodwa wena ekamereni yakho. There is no such thing. uBuntu can only exist in the context of others. So individuality in our African worldview is something that never existed. Umuntu ngabantu bakwethu. And what is umuntu? It's a vibration, it's a frequency, it's a soul of the universal spirit. We are all one. There are 5 principles I'm going to leave you with. The qualities of uBuntu. And this is according to Abba Ayalew, you know. But the 5 most important qualities, Isintu, according to my perspective, 1, inhlonipho. Because in inhlonipho, we are all given the space to express without the fear of being repressed or being judged or being suppressed. Respect, mutual respect. Number 2, intobeko, humility. The ability to understand and read the room. Uzehlise, have patience, have tact. Number 3, uthando, love. Without love, bakwethu man, hey, uthando man, hey, uthando yinto man. Without love, we as good as, we are worse than animals, because animals love their children. Animals protect and love their young ones. So without love, man, angazi ngathi yini. Uthando. Number 4, inhlonelo, reverence. You know, when you revere someone, when you revere something, when you revere your home, you respect your home, you honor your home, you do everything in order to bring honor to your home. Asena reverence bakwethu, inhlonelo, hey, nosiko is key. Culture, tradition, a way of doing things that has been tried and tested and is guaranteed. These 5 qualities make up what uMuntu is. And if we can concentrate and focus on those, sizobuya ke si realize ukuthi what is uMuntu. Sizothatha kancane ke manje ikhefu, and then I'm gonna come back and do a recap of lento besifunda namhlanje, just to put it back into a small box. Ukuthi ke if there are any questions, they can come from there, and then we'll tackle it. But this is the first lesson. I'm not yet done. Iningi into engayikhuluma ngabantu, but I don't want to bombard you with too much information all at the same time. So I'm going to stop right there for now. Ngiyabonga. Give thanks.